Who needs an outline? All you do is sit and write and the magic just happens. That'll work to a point, Trish, but just hear me out. An outline can really help. Hey guys, thanks for tuning back in for another writing video. Your outline should be like a roadmap for your writing. With it, you can lay out your plots and subplots and really figure out the pacing of your story. If you're doing a series, you can also figure out where your story splits into the different segments. It can let you see the course of your whole story, and it can change as your story changes. As far as how long your outline should be and how complicated it is, that really depends on the kind of writer you are, as well as for when you start the outline. If you're like me and can sort of fly off the seat of your pants, you may not need them for a collection of short stories. For a long time, I didn't have a proper outline for my novel series, and that really hindered my writing. But it got to a point where the world was so complicated that I just couldn't keep it all in my head. I needed to get it down somewhere so that I could reference it later. I also used my outline process to help me really figure out the plot and some details about the world that I was unsure on. I started off by writing all of the major events that I knew would happen in the story on note cards, and I taped them onto a glass door that I have in my home so I could rearrange them and add new ones in or take them out as I saw fit. I then transcribed that list of events into a bullet point list on a Word doc. From that point, I was able to figure out what events happened before the story and what events happened in each of the installments. The outline for each installment is about a page long. There are some points that I went in and fleshed out more because it was pertinent to the story. As a pantser myself, I really enjoy the freedom of writing, so I didn't want to be super confined into I can only write this particular thing for this particular thing and this particular thing. I wanted to have a general story that I could weave into this epic fantasy. I know some authors that end up with an outline that is 20 to 30 pages long, and while this does make the writing process easier, that's not how my mind can wrap around a story. Although I do plan on trying it out for a later project. Along with giving yourself an idea about the pacing of your novel, it can also let you see any glaring plot holes that might exist. You can even lay out where different characters are introduced and make sure that they don't just pop up out of nowhere. If you were looking for a sort of hard and fast answer to this question, I don't really have one for you. There are so many different people with different writing styles and different stories that without some information about your writing style and the particular story that you're trying to write, it's impossible to say, oh, this is exactly what you need to do. With that said, if you want to talk to me about your story, I can help give you some more advice. If you have any more questions about outlining, throw it out in a comment and let me know and I'll get back to you. Thanks again for tuning in. Happy writing! I'll catch you in the next one. As a complete thing before it's completed.